It's getting super hard to get accepted onto Takealot in 2025. That's just being real. I just made a video explaining the 3 biggest reasons why people are getting rejected. So if you haven't seen that, I'll link it up over here. Go watch that first. It's going to give way more context. But essentially, things are changing. Takealot is making some big changes, and they haven't announced this, but I have been able to get hold of some information from the inside, just from people that have sent me some emails from people that they know at Takealot. So in this video, I'm going to be going over some of the more practical tips from the last video on how to get accepted. If any of these elements you do actually want a little bit of a deep dive and actual how to, please let me know in the comments, but this YouTube algorithm is pretty funny. For now, let's just go over some of the practical ones. So the red behind that you can see, point number 1 was not having branded items. That's the biggest reason people are being rejected now. In the previous video, I showed an example of some of the products that we've branded, but I wanted to go over a few practical items that you can think of or things to consider. Number 1 would be the surface of your product, which sounds a little bit weird, but it's probably going to be the biggest tip. Paper, plastic, metal, glass, and wood. Those are kind of the surfaces I would try to stick to in the beginning. Now, that could refer to the packaging of the product. It could refer to the actual product itself. So most of the items that we started with was within the coffee niche. We had some coffee tools that were either aluminium or stainless steel, and a lot of them were, powder coated. So those are super easy to brand just by laser engraving. That's very affordable with manufacturers. Even locally, it's not that expensive. It's easier as well. So the MOQ is usually a lot lower because the item can be manufactured and then your logo can be added. You're not actually custom making the item, which is obviously going to increase your MOQs, which is minimum order quantities, by way too much. So think about the surface that you're thinking of getting. If you have like a crazy complex shape, it's probably going to be hard to get your logo on that. And then paper, maybe you have a custom notebook, book, whatever the case is, or just your packaging like cardboard. So maybe you starting a jewelry company or vitamins, who knows. And the packaging, the actual box, that can be pretty cheap to manufacture. It can be pretty cheap to custom brand. Even if the item inside still looks pretty generic, but the box is nice and custom made with your logo. That's a branded item. Takealot can't fight you on that. So that's probably the biggest thing to consider. Obviously, what item? Make sure that it's not flooded on Takealot, that there's not a ton of competition. But if not, and it's got a pretty easy surface to brand, you're probably going to be good. If it doesn't have one of those easy surfaces, the manufacturer might want you to increase your minimum order quantity, maybe from 10 all the way to 500 units all of a sudden. As you can imagine, that costs some money. So I personally try and avoid that. And I would strongly recommend that if you're watching this as a beginner, wanting to get started, please, you have so much to learn before you go order 500 units or something. You need to figure out if it's even going to sell. So please do not fall for that trap. The other way that you can get branded items is by using already branded items. So obviously, trying to sell Nike or Adidas is going to be pretty difficult because you need licensing. You need to prove to Takealot that you have the rights to sell authentic goods. Please stop trying to sell fake things on Takealot. It's not good for anyone. It breaks trust. It's not good. All these examples are just things that I've personally done and that I'm more familiar with. So please apply to your interests, your niche, your knowledge. You could reach out to someone who does leather work in your area and offer to sell their products. A lot of times these local brands are quite nice to find at markets, especially maybe on the higher end side of town, even if it means you need to go travel there. But reach out to them, see if you can sell their products at a markup. I would say for medium ticket items, you'd want at least a 40% markup. So they're giving you about a 40% discount in order to cover costs and actually be able to make some money. 50% would be better. The chances of that happening, unfortunately, are pretty slim, because they're a local too, and they're probably not pricing it with a huge barrier, so they might only be making 20% themselves. It's not a good thing, but it's an option. Every now and again, the more people you speak to, the more chances you're going to have of finding someone who's A, willing, and B, has enough margin for you to actually get in there, and you can tell them that you have a Takealot account, and explain to them how you can sell. You're also doing branding for them, which is super helpful. If you do want to get a bit more detailed and maybe you're in a niche, so we started off in the coffee niche, we reached out to a bunch of international starting up coffee brands to tell them, hey, we've got our own Shopify site, we're pushing to this and this network. We're also on South Africa's biggest e-commerce site as well, similar to Amazon, so you can reference these kind of things. Don't be afraid to reach out international. Most times people are too scared to, and then no one reaches out, but you think everyone has. If it's not on Takealot yet, you may as well give it a try. Will most people reject you? Yes. Yes, they will. We had so many people say no, but we did have some people reply. And we had some people that through lucky relationships, we actually got sole distributorship for, which means we were the only people who could sell it in South Africa. So that about covers it for the branded items. The second part, the little blue over there, that is social proof. Now, if you've gotten this big chunk of red sorted, and let me just maybe fix one more thing on that. You don't need to actually buy all the stock first before you apply. Please don't. Please don't do that, right? You can be a little bit sneaky with Canva or a professional photographer, editor, graphic designer, someone in that kind of space. But let's say if you were getting these, again, I wouldn't do electronics to start. It's just not easy. But let's say you were doing these and you wanted to get your logo on here. Well, get the picture from the manufacturer, right? Which is going to look something like this with a white background. Have like a nice side angle of this, and then get someone to Photoshop your logo on. Or in Canva, if it's like really straight on, you can do it. Doesn't look the best, but we've done it. Once you have 4 or 5 items, 6, 7 items, you can put that together in a little brochure, which we'll get to. And now all of a sudden you have branded items that you can test if Takealot's willing to accept. And if so, please don't do this and fake it. You can fake it, right? You can do just enough to get on Takealot and then go try and sell cheap items and plain. You're wasting your time and you're making the marketplace divided and flooded with cheap junk. So whatever you do go through the effort of doing all of this for, please try and make sure it's actually something that you're going to follow through with. So let's say I did want to start a headphone set. Headphone? I think that's right. If I wanted to start that, I could take this in a few different colors, Photoshop a logo, pay someone to do it, or maybe even try it myself in Canva, put that together in a nice little brochure, get accepted. And if I get accepted, that's pretty good proof of concept, at least from Takealot, that they're willing to add it in the increasingly difficult competitive world. So back to blue, social proof. Once you have those products, your pictures, etc., you want to do something with that before applying. Simple, free ways. Start a Instagram account, start a Facebook account. Yes, your images may only be liked by you and your mom and maybe your friends. That's okay. Takealot doesn't care about how many likes. Obviously, that would help. They just want to see some social proof, some more effort, a step above what no one else or very few people are willing to do. You've already thought of the brand name for all of this red, so you may as well start the page. It's not to make sales through, it's just social proof. Keep building that. Post a few pictures, post a few lifestyle images. Again, if you're getting it from Alibaba, straight from a manufacturer, reach out to them. I often ask them for lifestyle images, any videos that they might have, and I post those as well. That's a great option. So that's very easy, social proof, build that up. Other ways that you can do that is go onto Canva and you can make a little brochure where you just drag and drop your images in. That is very effective. You can put some prices, little descriptions, make it look professional. Make it look like it's a real brochure going out to customers. Have little disclaimers there. If it's a brand that's not yours, for example, Nike, have your disclaimer that you have a relationship with them, where if I'm a sole distributor, put that in there. All those small little details are going to make you look super legit. And again, only do this if you actually plan to follow through with it. Please, I can't stress that enough. When did my orange light go? I didn't even notice because I was looking at you guys. All right, so get some social proof going. When you're done with the social proof, you've got a nice little brochure to show them you've already increased your chances way above everyone else in 2025. Just the fact that you have branded goods is setting you apart. Now you've got some social proof, which they are becoming pretty picky on. That last little green sliver over there is your website. Can you go and spend a bunch of money on a website and all of your evenings and days designing it and moving the image this far to the left, this far back to the right? Yes, I think it's a waste of time. You're just trying to get accepted. You're just needing proof of concept. There's no point. You spend hours, you spend money, you get rejected again. That's going to leave you super frustrated. So instead, there's some free options. I use, what's the company's name? Steam.io. So Steam.io is essentially, you can host for free. It doesn't really function well as an e-commerce site. Definitely not in South Africa. But I've used it. Actually, a few of you have booked one-on-one sessions with me through System.io. I'll probably leave a link below. I'm not affiliated at all. I wish I was, but go ahead and click that. Awesome tool. You can actually link a professional domain to it. So if you get mywebsite.co.za, you can link it, which is pretty awesome. I would recommend getting a professional domain. It costs 99 Rand a year, unless you're trying to get a .com or something super fancy. And it's pretty easy to set up. It's good knowledge. So especially if your brand name is kind of safe and you think you're going to sell it, because you don't want to apply to Takealot with those romero.mysite@shopify.selling.co.za. That looks pretty cheap, right? If you don't believe me, would you actually put your credit card details into a site with that in the URL? I don't think so. And if you did, please stop. Don't do it. So get a nice professional site. For us, we have brewbetter.co, some coffee equipment. With that, you can get your professional email as well. Some, depending which domain you've gone through, sometimes they'll give you an email with them. I usually just get it through a separate provider, but then you'll have like romero@mysite.co.za or whatever your custom domain name is. That's also really good. If you're emailing Takealot and your application is a legit email, like with a professional domain, and you've got a website link with branded items and a brochure, these things are not difficult. They're great skills to learn. It's going to be important for your business either way you go. To be quite honest, if you were wanting to sell on Takealot, I'd go through all that effort, even if it wasn't required, because it's setting you up for success. And don't rush it. Take your time. Don't take too much time. Don't waste your time. That's what I'm trying to say. But don't rush it that you have to get everything done. Learn. Like I've told everyone, if you're trying to get onto Takealot now because you need money now, switch off this video, pack it away, go get a job at a restaurant in a nice town where you'll get good tips. I guarantee you'll make more money for your first couple months, as long as you're nice to the people. Takealot is not a get rich rich quick scheme. I try tell many of you in the DMs and emails, please don't sell on Takealot. If you're not willing to put the effort in, you're not wanting to learn, you're not wanting to grow an e-commerce business, you're not wanting to scale it and grow on other marketplaces, it's not really worth it. It's difficult. Kind of sucks at times. It's time consuming. It's worth it for sure. Sometimes. I'm just being honest with you I'm just going to be honest. I'm not going to be one of those YouTubers in South Africa that convince you to go on bragging about how they made millions and millions. Yeah, not going to do that to you. You deserve to hear the truth. I'm not trying to turn you off it, obviously. Just want you to be aware. So go get some branded items. Don't go buy the stock yet. Get the images together and set up a little website, a brochure, some social proof, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, I don't know. Get your domain name, get your website, whether it's a free website, Shopify site. Shopify also usually has a special way. It's like, I don't know, I think they had a special way. It was $1 for 3 months. So even if it's just for 3 months, get accepted and then, you can cancel it and start again. Up to you. When you've done all of those, not only are you putting yourself in a great position to get accepted, you've also learned a ton of skills and you've validated a bunch of product ideas. Like you're set up for way more success early on. But that's not always enough. So I have made this video with my step-by-step blueprint that I actually follow that helped me grow and scale and kind of find some stability through all of this. Because in the beginning, I was just guessing a lot and I felt lost and I felt very stressed out. So myself and the team, we put together a blueprint for us that we keep each other accountable to. It's just a simple flow. So it's a very valuable video. But that's it for me. See you next time.